Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. It's me, OMONDI Juma, with FTB Column, and we're talking about two main subjects today. Gary Neville's comments on Ronaldo, and we are also discussing, what else is that? The 5-sub rule. Good evening, 8:30, and yes, I am on time. You can set your watch by me, and anyone coming in saying that we're late, you're lying, because maybe yesterday, but not now, not on my shift, not on my watch. Ain't that right, Colin? Colin, how you doing, man? It's good. It's just the two of us tonight. Everyone's dispersed. They're busy. It's just going to be me and you going head to head talking about these subjects. So how are you, man? How's your day been?
I've had a good day, been busy working all day, trying to keep up with some of the transfers and everything that's going off as well. But most importantly, getting ready for the first game of the season.
Well, when you're at work, do you have like colleagues that support rival teams? Do you have a bit of banter and that kind of thing?
Where I work is unfortunately mainly Manchester City fans. There's a couple,
wow.
there's a couple of, there's one or two Fulham fans. I've got a Wolves fan in there as well, but it's majority City.
So you keep your head down.
Yeah, I ain't got a choice.
To, My gosh. I've got a Liverpool fan was on my case a lot. I've been working there for a long time, and he's been quiet for years. And only the last couple of years, he's always on. Oh, how's football going? How's Liverpool? How's United going? He's really mocking me, and sometimes I have to drive him home. It's really annoying at the moment with fans like that. But hopefully this season, it's all going to change. And you'd think, we're going to come on to the first subject, which is about Gary Neville. Obviously, a lot of people have seen the video. They've heard the quotes. And he's talking about Ronaldo. I'm going to read out the quote. Obviously, there's a lot more to what he said, but I'm going to read it out in Gary Neville's style. He said, for me to watch a Man United, ex-Man United captain, ex-Man United, as me as an ex-Man United captain, ex-Man United senior player, and thinking that in this moment in time, the star player in the dressing room is playing up. It's disgusting as far as he's concerned. It happens at times, he says, over the last few years where you had Pogba's agent, not necessarily Pogba all the time, but his agent always playing up with the club. You can't have your star player in the club running the shop. That's what he said clearly. Then he went on to say, when Sir Alex Ferguson in the past moved players on, it was because players need to be moved on. I know Man United fans want Ronaldo to stay, but if Ronaldo wants to leave Manchester United, in my mind, we should facilitate that. So that's quite clear from Gary Neville, who's a big spokesman, big personality around Manchester United. He's saying free Ronaldo. If he wants to go, let him go. And it's caused a bit of division, this, because obviously some fans thinking in the predicament we're in right now with one striker, and that'd be Martial, who's currently injured. Should we really be letting him go? But what do you think about Gary Neville's comments? And how do you, because obviously I've read that quote. Have you seen the video? What's your feeling on it? Do you think he was right to come out and say this?
I mean, obviously, Neville's a legend of the club, so he's always going to have something to say about what's happening at Man United. I agree with his comments. I really do. As much as I would love Ronaldo to stay at United, he doesn't want to. So why are we forcing him to do it? Yes, it's going to be a massive help for us this season. You can't replace Ronaldo. Everything he's done over his career, he's scored goals everywhere he's gone. But if he doesn't want to be here, then we can't keep him here, really. It's going to affect the dressing room. People are going to get rubbed up the wrong way by him because, let's face it, he is the best player Man United have got. And he's going to be... He's a constant professional. That's what I do like about Ronaldo, is 100% constant professional. If he's playing for Manchester United, every time he'll put on that shirt, he'll give 110% because that is how he is. He's a winner. He is a born winner. And I don't think United have born winners throughout the whole team. But yeah, like I said, if he wants to go and play Champions League football, then we just need to say thank you very much for all you've done, Ronaldo. Wish you all the best.
Colin, all right, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's have a little timeline of Ronaldo's second coming at Manchester United and see if we can agree with his statement here and how he feels. So let's start from the beginning. He came back lastminute.com at last season's transfer window. We were delighted, all the fans. He's ended up top goal scorer, got injured a couple of times in a few games, had a bit of a break. It's crucial games as well. I remember against big clubs where he got injured, he wasn't present. I think Liverpool, Man City, maybe a couple of games like that. But overall, scored 18 Premiership League goals, which is good for his age, or any age. It's good return. But he didn't get the top four, and now with his agent, there's been things going on. So, do you want to start us from pre-season, because obviously it started stirring up from there? What can you tell us from then?
Well, clearly, Ronaldo's not happy that he's not playing Champions League next season. I've not seen anywhere. I've seen it all from my agent side. I'm pretty sure I've not seen the direct words from Ronaldo or Ronaldo personally come out and say he does not want to be here. His agent has said it, which has possibly come from Ronaldo. Fair enough. But obviously his agent is now the one that's pushing for the move. He's been offered everywhere. You know, he's been offered to Chelsea. Chelsea have said no. He's been offered to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich have said no. And I think recently Atletico Madrid, and they've said no.
So what about, what do you think about, because he didn't go on tour to the Far East and Australia, did he? So do you think that was something to do with it, not being happy with the club?
No. I'm going to say it was what was reported, and it was personal issues. Obviously, we all know what happened not so long ago, and he had to take time out for obviously that tragic loss he had. But he came back relatively very quickly after all of that. So I don't think he's one just to turn around and say, nah, I'm not happy, so I'm not turning up. Like I said, he's a constant professional. He's always turned up. So I think it must have been some sort of personal issue, and that's what I'm going to go with.
All right. Can I just play devil's advocate here? This issue, the loss of his son or baby, that happened a few months ago. I mean, I know people mourn and all that kind of thing, but he came back and played maybe a week after that, I think. So I'm a bit bemused to say, well, why is that affecting you later on? Why do you need time off? I mean, what's really going on here? Apparently there's rumors that maybe someone in his family was sick. We just don't know, do you? But I think that's not being professional. I've seen footballers who, on away days, their wives giving birth, and they're on the coach traveling down south or something to have a game and saying, "Sorry, girl, just let me know how it goes," or let the mother-in-law deal with it. That's the reality of football. I heard a quote from Adam Lallana the other day. He was saying, "My gosh, when I was at Liverpool, you live it. It's every day, every day. They own you. You know, you're training in the afternoon, no time to play golf. But since he's come to Brighton, he's got more time to himself. You know, so it is. You're getting paid, and you're supposed to be professional and to have time off and all that. Because it's a bit undermining the club. So can I just talk? You saw the game the other day. I'm going to go to the comments in a second, but you saw the body language and the reaction to Ten Hag talking to him when they had a little drinks break. Now, what are your feelings on that? I mean, because it didn't look too good, in my opinion.
No, it really didn't. I think he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder in regards to Ronaldo. Obviously, he's won everything, and now there's this new man, this new guy on the block who Ronaldo is looking a little bit down on, maybe. You know, he's like, what have you won? In a way, you know, I've got Champions Leagues, I've got international trophies, I've got a La Liga trophy, I've got the Serie A trophy, an English Premier League, you know, so maybe it is a little bit of who are you to tell me what to do? I've done this before, I've won everything that I can do. Maybe it's something like that. Or maybe Ronaldo is saying the system isn't the way he wants to play. Maybe he thinks that it doesn't suit how he plays. I'm not too sure. I mean, let's face it, he didn't have the best of a game the other day, did he, Ronaldo? You know, he looked a little bit disinterested at times. When he were playing those little passes, were it to Gardner and refused to go up with the ball? You know, I think that's something.
I'm sorry, Colin, I'm going to have to cut you for 2 reasons. You always say Gardner for Gardner. And the second point is you said earlier that he's a professional. And now you're saying with these way undermining the manager, oh, I don't agree with his tactics. I've won A, B, and C. You know, there's got to be a hierarchy in the club. There's got to be the leader. The manager's got to be respected. But you're saying he's also professional in the same breath. You know, let's get this right. You can scold him if you want to.
No, I can, and I understand I can. He is a professional. You know, when he goes out onto the pitch, obviously not recently, but all his other times he's gone out on the pitch, he has been a professional. However, I do agree. There has to be a hierarchy, and Ronaldo needs to understand that he is not number one in the club. Number one in the club is Erik ten Hag. And I know a lot of United fans are going to be like, well, Ronaldo's the best player, so stop slating Ronaldo. I don't care if Ronaldo is the best player. We're changing direction. We're not under any of the old managers. We're not under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or anybody like that who focused on favourites. This is about the team this season. And like I said, as much as I want Ronaldo to stay because he's going to be an asset, if he doesn't want to be here, then goodbye. So long. I hope you enjoy wherever you're at next.
My thing is this. If for the other players, when they see that sort of, look, as a manager and I come in and I want to set the rule and I'm saying, right, it's going to be like this. I'm going to be consistent with it. Everyone's watching you. So when you see Ronaldo undermining him like that on the pitch, I don't know what was said, but the body language is like, you know, just disrespectful. I would want to strung him up. If there was no cameras there, you'd probably want to string him up and have a fight with him there and then as a manager. You know, say, how dare you undermine him? I'm telling you something, you do it. You're supposed to, that's not professional. So I felt I was a bit disappointed by that statement there. And then he seemed to be a bit upset with what Ten Hag said, because he came back and said he needs more training. He hasn't been part of the group, whatever, and he needs to integrate with the group. He doesn't seem to like it. But anyway, enough about what we think. I'm going into the comments because this is causing a little bit of a stir. We got Rebel saying, while I don't always agree with the right honourable gentleman, Mr. Neville, if it is the case that he has no desire to want to play for the club, then identify an exit option and done with it. He also says, a long-standing pursuits of players that don't want to wear the jersey need to be abandoned, and haste and resources directed to get players that want to come and a manager wants to cross the line. I want to say hi to Delvin. How you doing, man? Keep Ronaldo to January, he's saying, because then he can still go and get his Champions League football somewhere, but you have to be playing catch-up. Big up to Matthew Bassett. Fulker, how you doing, man? Big up to you. I want to say hi to K-Drama. You're back again, and you're in time. Yes, we love that. Welcome. HG Gamers here saying that would be effing horrible. Haven't seen many City fans in my area, probably because they don't exist. This is referring to you and being surrounded by City fans at work. How horrible must that be, Colin? Gavin Ward saying, agree with Neville, to be honest, about his statement. And K-Drama saying, I agree, Man United should let him go. Want to say hi to Bath Time with Vaughan. Big up Bath Time with Vaughan. How you doing, bruv? It says, I've never seen a less wholehearted performance than Ronaldo's against Real. A cut out of him would have done more. So he's saying, just agrees with you, Colin. He didn't play well at all. He's looked a bit lethargic. Matthew Bassett saying, Ronaldo has to go. We keep players against their wishes, and it's detrimental to the rest of the squad. Very good point. Rebel saying, seems Roma switch targets with centre-backs. Now they have they favour Lindelof over Bailey. Can't have him. Emma Kay, how you doing? She's saying Ronaldo needs to go where he's gonna go. Nobody seems to want him except the ones outside of the Champions League. Want to say hi to Ola Kunle, man. How you doing, bro? He said he has to stay. Oh my God. Why do fans blame the agent when you get CR37 standing in the game when your agent's talks him and talk? I can't understand what you're saying there, Ole. Kay, how you doing, Kay? No way. We cannot let Lindelof go. Talk about Lindelof because Rebels, we're talking about Ronaldo. Rebels come in, type in something else. Wait to any other business, Rebel. You know the rules. Mr. B, how you doing? He's saying if he wants to leave, let him buy himself out this year and go. So buy himself out of contract. Olakune, I'm coming to you now. So Olakune saying he wasn't making it up. His mother was ill. That's why he didn't go on tour. If that's true, I accept that. My point is, as a professional footballer, you're under contract. Now, as I gave the example, some people go on away days and then while their missus is about to give birth, sometimes it's a compromise you make being a professional footballer. There should be no exception, I don't think, anyway. But after I'm saying Ronaldo tried to force a move 75% of the time he's been at United. That's pretty true. He's also saying Ronaldo absolutely sold out Chong and Garnacho at the weekend in the most disgraceful performance I've seen in a United shirt. There's been many. I mean, yeah, you said this before, but it changes every week. Kay saying Ronaldo is not professional and this past week he's shown it. Yes, so there's good feeling in the comments here that they're not happy with Ronaldo, and that's true. Can I just give? So I'm going to go through a few more comments. Just put them up. But as I do, I'm going to talk about Paul Parker. You remember Paul Parker, Colin? Remember Paul Parker?
Yeah. I think you might have been a bit before my time.
England international from QPR, 5'0", centre back, but ended up playing right back for Man United. Fergie brought him in the late 80s. He won the FA Cup and Cup Winners' Cup with us and the first league title.
I was born in 90s, so yeah, it's a little bit before my time.
Everyone remembers Paul Parker. So Paul Parker's come out, and I think this should be the main statement because Paul Parker's less recognised, even though I think he's better right back than Gary Neville. He says, the first thing I want to say is they have to get rid of him. This is referring to Ronaldo. They must let him go. There's no doubt he is causing problems in the dressing room. Paul Parker saying this. He goes on to say he's got a massive ego. He is arrogant and is not the right kind of arrogance. There is no doubt, again, he's saying there's no doubt in his mind, that the best thing for the club, for the manager and the players would be not to have a Ronaldo around. So that's two senior pros, respected senior pros, who both played under Alex Ferguson, who were saying Ronaldo should go. And it's clear. And I think most people, like Gavin Ward here, saying not Ronaldo, but some of them can't be held to new discipline rules Eric Ten Hag has brought into the club. So, party time's over. Playtime is over for a lot of these players now. Just to carry on about this point, Colin, do you want to just talk about discipline in the club and why it's so important, please?
I mean, you need discipline in the club. I mean, it's funny that you've come to me because I was just like eyeing up a little article as well. Obviously, because Ronaldo left at half time, didn't he, the other day as well? And obviously, Ten Hag finds it absolutely disrespectful and he's actually issuing a fine to Ronaldo. So he is stamping his authority.
I applaud it. I applaud that. I think that's brilliant.
He's issuing a fine out. And this is what I mean. This is what we need. We need somebody that's not scared, whoever it is there, whether you're Ronaldo, Messi, Haaland, Neymar, whoever. You're the manager. So they need to respect you. This is where discipline comes into it. You need to respect each other, but you need to have the respect for the manager and do what the manager asks you to. Otherwise, things like this are going to happen. You're going to get disciplined. You're going to get missed games. And if you keep doing it, I mean, we all know Eric Ten Hag's not one to be messed with. He'll just say, right, fair enough. You can go train with under 20s and then we'll get you gone. See you later.
Do you think Eric Ten Hag's got the balls to do that?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. I just want to put here, because sometimes I think it's a bit of a myth. So Gavin Ward says here, let's face it, what would Fergie do if a player did this out the door? And he's got the door there. But you know the story about when Eric Cantona, I was going to say Eric Ten Hag, when Eric Cantona done the karate kick against Crystal Palace. And Lee Sharp told this story. It's pretty funny. After the game, he in the change room, he's fuming, he's come in. I think they drew 1-1 in that game, I think the result was. Someone will quote me on it, will correct me on that. So they come in, Fergie's like, oi, giving him hair dryer treatment. Giggsy, not good enough. Rah, rah, rah. Keno, not good enough. Rah, rah. Incy, that's rubbish. You big mouth Charlie, whatever he called him, that kind of thing. Then he comes to Cantona, he says, Eric, you can't be doing that now. So it's clear, and he does it in front of all the players. He wants to keep him on side because obviously Eric had is a class above, and he needed that. So that's Fergie being a bit unbalanced with his discipline there. So it's not entirely true. But then obviously we've seen with Beckham and Giggs and other players how he's been more disciplined. So it's hard being a manager, but I think in this case, do you agree that Ten Hag has to be backed with his decision making? And are you in support of the fine as well?
Yeah, he does have to be backed 100%. I mean, when you look at the discipline side of it, every player reacts to it different ways. So you can't just go in screaming and shouting at every single player because you're not going to get through to them. Sometimes with like Sir Alex did with Cantona, you got to take a bit more of a steadier approach and be like, come on, you can't be doing that. Because if you shout at Eric Cantona, you might get a flying kick.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Wow, imagine. I think there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind in the change rooms that can't be spoken about, and it's just the unspoken rule, is it, in football? You don't talk about these things. Bath Time's here to talking about. I don't know this story, but maybe Bath Time can let us know. If you want to laugh, look up Messi can of Coke story at Barcelona. I imagine that's something to do with him getting special treatment. Maybe is that what you're talking about, Bath Time? I don't know. If you let us know. Rebel's saying. If he goes, then there'll be a significant drop to the new highest paid player, which would be 375 grand. Who's the highest paid player now? It's Ronaldo. How much is he earning, Colin? Do you know?
Isn't he on 450? Maybe 500, actually.
That's a lot of money. So how much do you reckon you should fine him then? A percentage or just a set fine?
25%.
What of his weekly wage?
Yeah.
And that's for walking out and then being a BITCH as well.
That's for walking out and obviously arguing with him on the pitch.
Yeah. MUFC is saying you've got to back the manager no matter what. I think everyone's on the same page tonight. Everyone's agreeing. Gavin Ward's saying the point, no, Cantona didn't say he wanted to leave the club. Yeah, fair enough. That's a good comeback at me. Accept that. Bath Time saying, I can't imagine a world where Fergie would tolerate any challenge to authority from any player. Look what he done with Keane and Stam. We needed Stam, and he was upset with him. He let him go. So anyway, overall, last summary on the subject. Gary Neville's come out and said Man United should let him go. Paul Parker's also said he's arrogant. He needs to go as well. What's your final thoughts on this, Colin? What should we do? If this is the case, and all of the Man United agendaites agree with it too, what should the statement from the Man United agenda be to Manchester United about the situation? What do you propose they do? I
propose they turn around to Ronaldo and say, look, if you don't want to be here, buy out the rest of your contract and best of luck.
And that's you said that Mr. B voice, because Mr. B said that as well earlier. Exactly what you said about buying himself out of the contract. What about the timing though? What do you think we've been a bit hesitant? I mean, I suppose we were looking for a move maybe, but now it's like a couple of days before the kickoff, and we were without Martial, without Ronaldo, and I think Ahmad's sort of smiling or sort of looking around the man and saying, "Hi, only me." What about the timing? What would you do? Do that now with a player injured?
Yeah, I would. He's not been playing pre-season, so he's not even been there anyway. So okay. He's not going to be match fit.
Okay. There you go. Half time, boys. Half time. I'm exhausted after that. We're in agreement. No need for polls or anything like that. Ronaldo should go. The club, the Man United agenda have all agreed that he should go. We should let him go, as Colin said, and let him pay himself out of his contract. That's agreed. And I know all you guys in the comments seem to be agreeing that too. Colin, do you want to just quickly talk about the Premiership Football League, Fantasy Football League, please? Because it's running out. We're running out of time, aren't we? I'll just remove this banner here so we can just quickly discuss, because you've had two shows now and the season's about to kick off.
Yep, the season is about to kick off. It's about to kick off tomorrow night. So if you aren't part of the Manchester United Agenda Fantasy League, there is the code to do so. It's on the Fantasy Premier League website. Your code is 1CZLY1. There will be a trophy that I believe Mr. B has sourced, and he will be delivering it, and I think you can get your name engraved on it. Also, the panelist who's in it as well, who finishes the bottom out of them all, will be doing a forfeit that is decided by you guys in the chat. It has to be obviously within legal boundaries and everything. But to anybody that is in there or anybody that is going to join, make sure your team is done and selected by 6:30 p.m. tomorrow, because obviously the first game of the season kicks off tomorrow and you won't be able to change your team.
Brilliant. Okay. That's confirmed. Just quickly, what would you say to anyone who's got Ronaldo or Martial in their team?
Take them out.
Okay. What about sub? No, we'll put him on the bench as a sub. One of the 5 subs.
You could.
It's a risk now, isn't it? I mean, Ronaldo has a lot of money in this game, wouldn't he? I'm sure he would be. Anyway, we're moving on. We're moving on, guys. Second subject we were talking about tonight. I don't know if you must know about this last few seasons. The major European leagues have had 5 subs, and it really helps them, I think, with squad rotation, that kind of thing. So this season in the Premier League, there will be a 5-sub rule. And we're going to have a little discussion about this because there's pros and cons to having 5 subs. I'm just going to read out a couple of things that I've been making notes about. First thing I will say is this. The bigger clubs will gain an unfair advantage due to the great strength and depth, widening the gap in the league's competitive nature. So some teams just coming up to the Premiership might have got some money, not in the Forest, for example, spent a lot of money. They want to survive. They want to do their thing. But they might have a smaller squad than someone like Man City, who's got better players on the bench who can come in. So is this an unfair advantage to the bigger clubs? Because it was Jurgen Klopp, for example, who's been sort of preaching and begging for this 5-sub rule for a long time now. What do you guys think in the comments as well? So first point I'm going to throw at you, playing the devil's advocate column, do the bigger clubs gain an unfair advantage due to having better squad?
Yes, they do. You know, some people's reserve squads as such as Man City's, could walk into many Premier League teams, you know. So it's a very, very big advantage for the bigger clubs. 100%. You've got talent sat on the bench. You can make 5 subs. You can bring on 5 world-class players compared to some teams down at the bottom or people that have only just come up that don't have that quality and they can't bring on that quality. They can bring on either a similar quality to what they've got or a worse one.
Okay, so Matthew Bassett here is saying this 5-sub rule only suits teams with strong squad depth. So do you think it's unfair? How would you feel if you're Nottingham Forest or Bournemouth or Fulham just coming up and you're playing, you know, you're working your ass off and you get the like 1-1 going 70th minute and then suddenly Man City change their front 3 and their 2 midfielders for a dynamic, fresh guys coming on. And you look on your bench and you've got like a 39-year-old goalkeeper, a championship player and a teenager at 16 years old.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd be so annoyed, wouldn't you, with it? This is the thing. I think, like you said, it's got pros and cons, but this is going to be a really big issue, especially for, like we say, the teams that don't have the squad depth. It's going to be a massive issue for them because, like we're saying, Man City could be starting Alvarez and everybody and keeping people on bench. And let's say they're playing Forest, it's 1-1 at 65 minutes, and then they throw on De Bruyne, Haaland, Mara. Do you know what I mean? All these big name star players. It's an unfair advantage.
So Emma's here saying, but it could give extra energy for the lower teams. I don't know what you mean by that. What do you think Emma means by this?
Maybe they've got some players on the bench, you know, some youth players on the bench that have got lots of energy, you know, because they're going to try and play, the lower teams are going to try and play their established players that have, you know, and they're going to be more likely older than everybody else. Maybe they've got this young youth on the bench or 4 youth players on the bench that are going to come on and they're just going to run rings around people because they've got all this energy to burn. Maybe it's that.
It's a good point here from Bath Time. So Bath Time saying more subs also suit managers that proactively react to games. But when you look at the stats, there's no data. The survey says there's no relationship between the league points and the subs regarding the top European leagues. They've done a survey from last season and top 4 European leagues. They said there's no relationship between league points and the subs being made. So being proactive, a lot of the teams seem to make, what they were saying is that a lot of teams make subs around 70 minutes and like Man City only made 2 subs. They made less subs than anyone else last season and they won the league. So but then there's arguments say they would probably be winning games at that point. There's no need for them to make drastic changes or be proactive in that respect because they're controlling games the majority of the time. So another reason why these stats don't really stand out because you can counter them with like saying, actually, in reality, they're winning games, they're in control. Why would they need to make proactive subs? But it could be beneficial for a mid-table side maybe or a lower league side, for example. If you're, for example, I was going to ask you, Colin, you're the manager of Fulham. You're absorbing all the pressure from Manchester City, and it's 0-0 in the 70th minute. Would you? And your defender is blowing, and he's like, "Oh my god, take me off because I can't take this anymore. I'm being shuffled left to right, left, right. Would that be a good opportunity in that respect to sort of get defenders on? You could get 2-3 defenders on, or maybe 5 defenders on, and get that energy back in the side. I think that's what maybe fresh legs, what Emma's saying there. Do you think that could be an advantage for lower teams in that sense?
So it's like a double-edged sword, really, because yes, it would be good because then you're getting fresh legs on. You're getting players that haven't been chasing Man City up and down, up and down, up and down, like what they do to everybody. But then again, you're changing the team. Subs aren't going to come on straight away and be like switched on instantly. They've got to get used to the flow of the game and everything. And all it takes is literally 30 seconds. 30 seconds and the ball's in the back of the net. So it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword, really.
So we're talking about like you're playing a low block, you're absorbing all the pressure. You haven't got the most talented side. You're playing against a really good side like City. Do you think like by changing the defenders, it's going to sort of change the game a little bit? Where it takes a while, 5 minutes to get into the pace of the game, to get it to understanding, or would you keep players on that are tired, but maybe just doing the job correctly and keeping pace with what's going on? Do you think it makes a difference? Like sometimes when you make subs, look at these preseason friendlies, for example, 10 subs at half time, and then the game just goes on a bit of a lull and it takes a long time to get up to that pace again. What are your feelings on that? Difficult about the subs?
Well, what I'll do is I'll take it from my personal experience because I play Sunday League football and we're doing the whole preseason as well at the minute. We played not so long ago and we managed to win. Our defenders were completely blowing, because we were against a Premiership side in the Sunday League. We're a Division 2 side, we're newly formed. So obviously they're well drilled. They were blowing, but the manager changed nothing. He didn't make a single sub all 90 minutes because we got used to how they was playing and everybody was switched on. We played again a couple of days ago. And we got beat again by a Premiership side. But the manager swapped 4 players and they were all defenders. And because there wasn't up with how quick the game was going and there wasn't switched on and everything with how fast-paced it was, it cost. So I think that's going to be an issue if you are going to try and swap out your defenders. Maybe keep your defenders on, because they're obviously used to what's happening. Maybe take a striker off if you're trying to get a point for another defender. Maybe you take a midfielder off as well to get another defender in. So then you've got them. You've got the fresh legs that can do the chasing, but then you've got your normal defenders that have been there all game. So they're still switched on and still with the speed of the game.
Very good point. I really love that. And you gave an example, evidence of what's happening in your Sunday league as well. And your manager's a very smart man. Tell him I said that about keeping the players on. Because, they're units, aren't they? Of the defense is a whole unit. So if you take someone out of there who's maybe not as vocal or not switched on, it might be more difficult. I want to say hi to Jackie. Jackie's the first lady of the Man United agenda. How are you doing, Jackie? She's saying, I like the 5 sub rule. Real changes can be made. Tactical diversity, to coin a phrase. One negative could be time wasting towards the end of the game by rolling on subs. Would you bring on 5 at one time or 1 every 2 minutes? That kind of thing. That's a very good point as well. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of an issue now, isn't it? And that's 3 subs. You see teams sending on a sub to waste a bit of time. You see them walking off and clapping. So if they've got 5 subs, like you said, are they going to send them all on at once? I don't think so. It's going to be, right, we'll send a sub on now. We'll leave it 2 minutes. Right, it's now 87th, we'll send another one on. Wait till 89th, send another one on. So, yeah, I think that's going to cause a bit of an issue.
Because you know what it is? When they change the rules, it takes a while because people start to bend the rules, don't they? It's like with the offside trap. I remember Van Nistelrooy used to start in an offside position, saying, right, and it would cause a lot of mayhem. But he's offside, it just causes so much stress. So it takes a while for teams to adapt. They always find a way to bend the rules, don't they, in this respect? So it's just trial, but we'll see how it goes going forward. I actually want to counter this as well. So here's another counter for you, Colin. Sorry to put you in the corner. It's ain't interrogation. I'm sure you can handle it, but here's a counter. So it's greater protection from burnout. It there's a crammed football calendar, and there's risk of injury, and the less risk of injury, and because of the higher demands. What do you feel about that? Because I'll just quote you here: Aston Villa, 1982. Remember this? They had 16 players throughout the whole season, and they done a full season, 42 games in the league, FA Cup, League Cup, and they went on to the final of the Champions League or the European Cup and won that as well with 16 players, and no one complained. So Klopp is coming out. He's the one big endorser. He said greater protection from burnout, and we know they need extra medicine to save because they play the high tempo game, don't they? And gives them respiratory issues. Crammed football calendar, risk of injury, and higher demand. So this is a counter to why it's necessary. Do you accept that?
Yeah, I do accept that. I mean, if you look at what football was back then to what it is now, it's a lot more fast paced. It's a lot more, I wouldn't say physical as such, but it's more physically demanding than what it was back then. I think.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah, with the amount of training and everything that's expected of people, they're not training once every couple of days. It's every single day with a day off before a game. And you got your people like Klopp, Ten Hag, obviously Pep, that are running the players into the ground in training. So I think the 5 subs, like I said, it's got benefits as well, pros and cons. I like the idea of the 5 subs because it's going to help with making sure people aren't out injured for massive periods of time. They're not going to come down with muscle fatigue or anything like that. So I'm a big fan of it, especially with, obviously, in the middle of this season, the World Cup's happening. So players are going to be playing stupid amount of football this year.
Yeah. But like I said, 16 players for Aston Villa, and I'm sure the majority of teams in those times did have a 16-man squad and 1 sub available for each game. And they still went through a season of 42 games in the league. They still went through the FA Cup, League Cup, and Champions League or European Cup Winners' Cup, wherever they're in, and played as many games as possible. And they weren't complaining. They managed to do it. And that's just rotating the players. 6 is not much rotation, is it? You've got 16 players. But just going back, I've got a stat here from 1999, which was the treble year for Manchester United. In total, they used 27 players. When I say 27, there was a couple of guys that had an odd appearance or sub in the League Cup, for example. But majority, there's 20 players signed up for the Champions League. And there's 20 players that played in the Champions League that season. So you'd suggest that these were the main players, really important players for the club, because back then you had to select 20 guys. You're not going to pick that guy from the youth academy and just give him a run out. This is Champions League, and obviously it was tough going. They went all the way in the FA Cup, they went all the way in the league, and they went all the way in the Champions League as well. So they used 20 players. That's 4 more than Aston Villa for the season. But obviously in the League Cup, there was a couple other players. Had a couple odd cameos there. But now, with the 5 sub rule, it's going to change it completely again. And I do think it does give the advantage to the bigger clubs, most definitely. I think by the end of this now, if the English clubs aren't in all the finals of the Champions League and the Europa, the Conference League, then there has to be questions asked, because I think in Europe, they managed it a lot better over the years. The rotations of players and that kind of thing. And because of the high demands that you suggested there of the Premier League, the way the football's played is a lot faster, apparently. They say burnout causes issues by get to the end of the season. I think Klopp says this because he got to the end of the season last season, and he was in 2 cup finals that went to extra time, and then he was expected to challenge in the league last few games when everyone was probably running on empty, and then got to the Champions League final, and they're probably burnt out by that point. So this is why I can understand he would gain an advantage from it. Thoughts on that?
No, I think I kind of got to agree. We all say that the Premier League's the best league in the world, so we need to start showing this. We're the same as everybody else now. 5 subs. It's a hard one to say, isn't it, really? 'Cause it's a trial. This is a trial. We don't know what's going to happen at all. I think there should be some rules in this, personally. Like I've seen a couple of comments saying about injuries, subs and stuff like that. Maybe one of them should be an injury sub. So technically you got 4, but you've got to use them before a certain amount of time or something like that, you know, so it stops all this time wasting, or, you know, or you have to bring on maybe a good one, because this is what I like to see. There's 5 subs, bring on some youth players. Maybe you can have 3 subs as normal, and then 2 of your subs have to be academy players. You know, give some academy team.
I like the idea of that. Then it would be more balanced for the lower teams as well. Matthew Bassett's a good point here. He said that's half the outfield team that could be subbed on to change the game. It's going to be detrimental to mid-table teams and lower teams who simply cannot compete against that. I want to say hi to GoPaul. He says lower teams don't have the depth and quality, massive advantage for the teams with deeper squads. Bath Times counteracting, he's saying there's no way you can make a correlation study to explain the variance of results with subs. It's like asking a dog to surf a cloud. A bit like Monkey. Remember Monkey Magic used to do that, didn't he? Surf a cloud. Rebel saying, that being said, Pep, I think, was ranked with the lowest number of subs across the league. I think so maybe 5 subs won't make a big difference to him. We talked about that earlier, didn't we, about Pep being the lowest on the stats to make subs. But maybe because they're in control, there's no need to be proactive, as Bath Time was saying earlier, with that good point. Emma is saying, I think it might be shaky this first season or the first half of it. We're probably till the managers and players figured it out. Gavin saying here, it will only get used after the World Cup because the big players will start complaining they've played in too many games, as Colin was saying earlier. Emma's saying there's apparently time restrictions. So remember you were saying, Colin, about taking the mickey with the subs. Time restrictions for when you can make a sub to counter the time-wasting tactics. That's a good shout. HD Gamer is saying early subs will happen for sure, because at the moment, I think the stats say it's from about 60 to 70 minutes. That's when the subs are made. Gavin saying, come on one day, they will run around the pitch for 90 minutes, a couple times a week, hardly exhausting. Even with the training, they only work 3 to 4 hours a day. So there you go. Good shout, good comeback. And Ola Kunle saying, OMONDI, the game is far quicker now than back then. Also, the mental side of the game now is different, as in pressures is 24/7. How many points did United get team win to win? How many points did United team get to win the league? 73. So that's so he thinks it's a lot harder these days, more demanding. I don't know. That's a good discussion. I disagree. I wouldn't say it was definitely more demanding. It's still the same game. Look at the pitches they played on. Look at the travel. You'd probably travel in some beat up coach, you know, and you know, eat rubbish and thing and get there, or you'd probably be, you know, wouldn't be pleased. You wouldn't have those luxuries that you probably have today, private jet or helicopter or whatever they have these days. Their players are pampered. They're, you know, with so much money in the game. I don't know. That's another show. Maybe Ola Kunle. We should talk about that another time. What do you think about that, Colin? What Ola Kunle is saying? It's different now. Do you think the game has evolved, or do you think it's more demanding for these players? Really?
See, I think the game has evolved. 100%, it has evolved. I go back and watch games from early 90s to 2000s to 2010s, you know, up until last season, and you can see that the game has evolved so much since back then. Like I said, I think.
Sorry to cut you. How has it evolved? Give me some examples.
The speed of the game has evolved. It's a lot faster. You know, we've got a lot slicker pitches, so the ball moves faster, which means the players have to move faster, you know. The amount that's expected of them as well, I think, has rose, because obviously social media and everything has affected that. You know, if somebody has a bad game, it's all over social media, it's all over the TV, you know, it's everywhere. Whereas I don't think it wasn't as pinned on as before, you know, way back when, before all social media and everything was around. So I think it's expected of them now to be at a certain level, and then if they don't, they hear about it basically everywhere. So the mental side of it, I think, has changed a lot as well.
Okay. HG Gamer said, I think the players are better technically now with the ball, and I think Colin says about the pitches now like carpet. Ola Kunle to counter me with a good counter here. He's saying on Monday we were having pints at half time back then, and also they were smoking. He's saying, I want to say hi to Eddie Waffle. How you doing, Eddie? What are your thoughts about the 5 sub rule? Pros and cons for that? We've already discussed it, but love to hear what you've got to think about it. He's saying something here. He said money has increased the pressure for players to perform as well. So he's agreeing with you there. MUFC saying Rooney was a smoker at Manchester United as well. I don't know, was he really? I thought that would have been a bit late. Yeah, but they did. And also here, Olakunle's done his research, saying players on average are running 15 or 16 kilometers each game. I thought it was around 10 to 11. Has it gone up that much?
That might be United players.
Yeah, who knows? I'll tell you something though. Like, if you really watch football, like this is why they say football training should be more interval training rather than going for like a 10K run. Do an interval training, because a lot of the time you're standing around. If you watch, especially if you go to games, you watch the players. Right, I'm watching this guy. He'll be standing around most of the time. Look at Messi. Messi stands around, and he still gets the distance in, but he will stand around waiting. Sometimes you don't have to be sprinting. It's not full on where you're up and down, up and down. There's so many breaks. There's so many breaks in play. There's so many things where you don't really have to move. I play centre back. I stroll. I'm just going up, down, cover my zone. It's not like I'm sprinting all the time. So I know there's these data stats about the distance you run. They have trackers, don't they, on a lot of players these days, where they can measure everything about your heart rate, the distance you run, and everything else. But I'm not so sure. It's the same game they're playing that the demands are even more these days. I'm not sure. That's something we could discuss anyway. So we're going to summarize on this now, Colin. What do you think about the 5 rule? What do you think is going to happen with that? Do you think it's going to be an effective, positive thing for the game of football?
I think it's going to be a really good thing this season. I think it's going to do everybody in the league a bit of good. Obviously, it's going to benefit some players and some teams more, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good thing this season.
Okay, I'm interested to see. I'm going to see how that goes. I think we did take advantage. I think Ralph did take advantage of it last year. He was bringing on like 3 subs at one time, wasn't he? And it's usually around 65 minutes he was using that. Whether they changed the game or not, I don't know. But subs, as Jackie said earlier, subs do change the game. Just HG Gamer saying, I was watching Man United versus Liverpool in 2008. It's very slow compared to what it is now. Rebel saying, mentally, I agree that aren't as robust, Gavin, referring to Gavin, because Gavin said, softer players, they get blisters than in mode today. So, yeah, that's a big argument. Maybe that's something we can talk about in the future. And finally, Eddie's got his fingers typing, and he's come out with a good point here. He said 5 subs, always good. They should always they should be able to have 11 subs. Some of these guys get paid to train. Some more game time, more players is better. So he's saying we should be able to have 11 subs. I don't know what you think about that. I don't want to disappoint my respected friend, but I disagree with Eddie for once. What do you think, Colin?
I don't agree with 11 subs at all. No, 5 is max for me.
Okay, sorry, Eddie, but we disagree. Rebel saying they can't accept or deal with critique. This is what they're saying today, and that's kind of totally true. Robbo, Emma K is saying, well, the media loves to go after a player who has a bad game, and people suck it up. They do. And big up, bro. Yeah, just hellos and all that. And yeah, Callum HD the game is saying 11. No, disagree with that. So Klopp is great at using subs, says Olakunle. So Klopp is the one who's been endorsing his 5 sub rule, hasn't he? And Gavin Ward, you made some really good points today. Gavin's saying 5 subs, but they all have to be from the under 21 squad. Very good. You were going down that road, weren't you? You were saying that, Colin.
Yep. I think it'd be a good idea.
Okay. Well, we're about to find out. The season's about to kick off. What about your fantasy league? Do you think that's going to be? Have you taken that into consideration about the 5 sub rule?
I have taken it into consideration. Yes, I'm looking forward to see my name on top at leaderboard.
Okay. Well, you've got a challenger right here, so hopefully we'll be going back and forth at the top of the table, like Man U and City and Liverpool this season. Anyway, any other business, Colin? It's been a busy day, a lot of stuff going on in the news. You've had your ear to the ground when you haven't been getting abused at work by Man City supporters. So what have you got for me?
So I've heard a couple of things. I've heard that there's now 5 clubs interested in Sesko. United, Chelsea, PSG are 3 of the clubs. Liverpool are also looking at him. However, United have been in contact and apparently met up with Sesko's agents that and it looks like the player will be making up his mind next week to which club he would like to go.
You've had a chance to look at him, Colin. Has he impressed you even more since you've been going into more detail studying him?
I do like him, but there's still doubts there for me whether he's ready to come to a club like Manchester United.
What sort of doubts would you have? Just elaborate
Experience.
On that.
I just don't think he's got the experience yet.
Okay. Fair enough. Austrian league. I mean, the only teams I know is Austria Vienna and Salzburg. I suppose they're not really competitive. You never see them doing well in Europe, but they do have this Red Bull team. Do have a great scouting team. So many great players have come through that club in the last 10 years. So could it be another one?
Possibly. You know, they are all saying he's like the next Erling Haaland. So.
Well, I've noticed he's big, tall, strong like Haaland. He's very quick as well. Once he gets his legs moving, I've seen he's rapid. And we saw the game against Liverpool, didn't we? Where he scored a goal, first time finish. His movement was good. When you're that big, it's really hard as a defender. It's really hard to sort of manage someone that size. And he's got good feet. The way he twist and turn on the line against Curtis Jones and James Milner, very impressive. You know. So, yeah, but like you say, there's that question mark about experience and whether he could step up at a level, if that's a myth or not. I don't know. So just going to go through. You got any more news for us before we go through? Because I'm it's like a drought for me. I was hoping you would have more of that.
Well, obviously, it's been announced today that Tellez has now joined Seville on loan.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I don't mind that, you know. I would have preferred him to go permanently, I think, so we could have got some money out of it. But but I don't agree that we're paying some of his wages.
Oh, we are again, are we?
Yeah. Seville are only paying 2 million as part of his wages. 2 million euros for this year. We're paying the rest.
How old is Tellez now then?
Tellez,
must be late 20s or something.
Yeah, I think he's 28, 29.
It's ironic, isn't it? We're talking about like the 5-sub rule. Sure, wouldn't he get games if we've only got 2 left backs? If one of them gets injured, one would be playing 2 games a week.
Well,
I don't know.
You'd think, but he's been playing centre back as well, hasn't
he? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did one of the games. I think it was it against Liverpool or the next game? Melbourne. I think he
Melbourne.
Came on the centre back. Yeah. I think Tellez was a good player. Just being told here, the HG Gamer, he's 29 years old. So goodbye to Tellez. What about because they were talking in the comments earlier about the 2 centre backs, Bailey and Lindroth, being wanted by Roma. Anything about that?
Yeah. So Roma are looking at both. However, I think from what I've been reading and what I've heard, the deal for Bailey is a lot closer. Looks like he's going to be going on a loan with an option to buy at the end for 8 million euros.
Oh, wow. And I hate to say it because we do talk about it, seems like every single time we do a show. You know, I'm going to say Frankie de Jong. Have you heard anything?
No, I've not heard anything as of any updates whatsoever about Frankie de Jong. As far as everyone's aware, at the moment, Barcelona are wanting to sell, United are wanting to buy. De Jong doesn't want to go anywhere till he has been paid what he's owed.
Such a shame. So overall, to summarise, Gary Neville, Paul Parker, they've said that we should release Ronaldo. I think we should wait until the end of the window and maybe release him then because we've got games now and maybe he needs to have a little cameo as one of the 5 subs. Do you agree? So we've had time to talk about it. Are you still convinced that Gary Neville's right? We should let the man go?
Yeah, I still think he's right. I think we should let Ronaldo go. Obviously, I said it obviously at the beginning of the show. If he wants to go, just let him go, regardless who's up front. But we do have to think about Erik ten Hag and what he's going to do. At the end of the day, it's his choice. If he's going to keep Ronaldo, then we back him and keep Ronaldo. If he wants Ronaldo to go and we haven't got a backup striker, then either way, we just back Erik ten Hag and whatever choice he makes.
And over to you. Last question would be, we're allowed 5 subs. How many does that mean we got on the bench? Could we have like 10 players on the bench and choose 5 of them? Or do you have to register just 5 subs? Is that what's the rule now?
I don't think it's been made very clear.
Okay. Anyone know in the
I
comments?
imagine it's 10.
So you could have 10 players out there, and then that'd be registered, and out of those 10, you could choose 5.
Yeah,
Is
I
that how it
imagine
works?
that's how it'd be. Yeah.
Okay. So just give me an idea of the team we've got now. Name me 5 players that you would be saying fit and ready to come on and make a difference in our side. So if you're a manager of Man United right now for the next 3 games, name me 5 players that might not be starting but could have impact off the bench.
Ghana, Zidane. I'm going to say Malacia because I don't think he'll start. Whew, you got me. Elanga. And one more. Ericsson.
Ericsson, that's okay. Not Garnacho. Do you see Garnacho sniffing around the first team or on the bench?
I see him on the bench, but I don't see him getting on anytime soon.
Okay. But what about, so just because we've got our 3 front men, that would be Martial, Rashford, and Sancho, for example. You mentioned Langa, put him on the bench as a guy who can come on. Where is Garnacho over Langa, or does Langa still got the experience over him?
I think
Pelestri as well. Someone's saying.
I mean, I like Garnacho. I really do. I think he has the potential to be better than Elanga, but Elanga has played Premier League football already. You know, he's established himself in like the first team, so I think that kind of takes priority.
Okay. Just a quick one for here for HD Gamer. He's come out and said there's 7 on the bench in the Premier League. So out of those 7, we pick 5, I imagine. And that'll probably be 2 goalkeepers or goalkeeper. We've got news here from Rebel saying Cucurella, 52 million to Chelsea, will be 6 left back on their books. And finally, MUFC saying his bench would be Garnacho, Garner, or is it Gardner, Colin? Ahmad, Malacia, and Zidane. No defenders. Oh yeah, Malacia there. What about Martinez? Or is he likely to start?
Yeah, I think Martinez. I think Martinez is a starter.
Okay. English Football League. Sorry, forgive me. All right, well there we go. We've had a good show. We've discussed 2 good topics. I still don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out in the next couple of days. First of all, I want to say this, Colin. Do you want to just announce your show? You got a show coming up. Obviously, you do, and you're on Man United Agenda with the Fantasy Football League as well. What's your schedule for the next few days? Just let us know, please.
Yeah. So over on FTB Sports, I'm going to be doing a lot of watch-alongs this season, starting tomorrow. I'll be going live from 7:30 to watch the Crystal Palace Arsenal game tomorrow. Yeah, and then Saturday I'll be live again to do some more watch-alongs, and then finally Sunday I'll be live again doing some more watch-alongs, and then I'll be live Monday on FTB Sports as well, having a look back at all the games.
Brilliant. So tomorrow we're doing a preview show, 8:30 on the Man United Agenda. Obviously, the big preview. We're back. It's Brighton, and then on Saturday, nothing going on. So go and look out for Colin. I think Colin, you're doing a watch along on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go and check out Colin on Saturday, guys. And obviously on Sunday we're back. It's the big game. I've got a game. Just by the way, I'm the new manager of my Sunday League Football Club. So I've already ordered my blackboard, everything else, and I'm going to be setting up tactics and hopefully playing as well. So we've got a game. I'll be back by 1 o'clock. Just in time to watch the game and watch a watch along with TalkMU. TalkMU's back with Mr. B. They'll be doing their watch along for the first opening game of the season, and afterwards we'll be doing a preview show as well. So there's a lot to look forward to this weekend on the Man United Agenda and on FTB Sports. We're really glad you've been here and joined us today. And thanks for your comments as well, because it's been a really interesting discussion, hasn't it? Yeah, everyone's just talking now amongst themselves about Pelestri. Emma likes Pelestri. She's saying, why are we not talking about him? No one picking him. She actually likes him. He scored a good goal against Liverpool, obviously. And Matthew Bass is saying, on Monday, will you be doing coaching and tactics shows? Yes, every Tuesday, 10 p.m. I didn't want to go too far into next week, but yeah, on Tuesday, 10 p.m., I will be doing a tactical show. And I hopefully, Colin, you fancy coming on with me 10 o'clock?
Yeah, sure. It'll be straight after I've done the Fantasy League, but yeah.
And a Rebel saying, let me guess, OMONDI, you're going to ask them to be defensively solid and control the game. 1-0 result. Yeah, that's what I'll be asking. I'll be doing a vlog or whatever about it as well. It's going to be really interesting. It's a good project, and I'm really looking forward to it. We haven't got, this is the thing about football, we haven't got like the best players. I don't want to disrespect anybody, but we've got a balance of some good players, some really not so good players, some old players, me, who can't run anymore. And so we just got to try out that. You have to sort of gel aside and get them to protect everyone's interest as a team, protect our weaknesses, and try and make us good with our strengths, which got a couple of good wide men who can got legs on them, you know. And but I just think we need a ball player in the midfield who can play. That should be me, but they won't. Probably. I'll be playing centre back. I've got my brother as well playing Kahinde, you know, he's known to the show. So it's going to be really interesting. And hopefully you can keep an eye out for us, the Woodlands United FC. But we're going to sign out now. I want to say thank you to everyone. Anyone's comment today, column that's really sort of thought was a good comment? Anyone in the comments there you thought some knowledge?
I mean, there's been loads of comments that I think have been... Pick one out.
Yeah. Who do you think's raised your eyebrow today?
Who's raised my eyebrow the most today? Probably Emma. You know, she's always on point, isn't she, when she's in the chat?
Totally.
So, you know, as always, I am always looking out for Emma's.
I'm going to say Gavin. Gavin, you raised my eyebrow today. A couple of comments you made really good. And where's Bill Badger? That's what I want to say. Send that search party, guys. Haven't seen Bill Badger in the comments. But Matthew Bassett, Rebel, I'm not going to go through names. Ola Kunle, Jackie, all you guys. I'm missing people out. Go Paul. Everyone who's contributed today, we appreciate you. And don't forget the schedule. And don't forget to put your team in before 6:30 tomorrow. But on that note, we're going to sign out. Colin, enough respect, bruv. We'll chat after the show. And we will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30. See you later.